Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center is a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday program. And we are very glad to have you here today. We're sponsored by Fieldstone Memory Care of Bainbridge Island. Fieldstone offers innovative and compassionate care, and they are now accepting residents on Rolling Bay. Call 360-271-2530 to schedule a tour of their beautifully appointed apartments. Today, we have Tressa Johnson here from the Kitsap Regional Library, Bainbridge Island branch. And Tressa is going to tell us about the library's best kept secrets. Hi, Tressa.
Hi, thanks, Reed. There are so many great things happening at the library. I was thinking, I was trying to figure out how to open this talk, and I never did come across an answer, but it did occur to me. Google, there's this expectation that Google has made everything available to us, information from around the world. And I would argue that that's not accurate, but I would also argue that there is a difference between availability and accessibility, right? So just because it's there doesn't mean that you can access it. So Google has 4 million answers. Perhaps the answer you're looking for is number 2,352. Good luck. And I say that as a way of saying that this explosion of information leaves us with a huge conundrum, particularly in library land. There's so much that you can do. There are so many resources out there. And of course, we just want to share them all with you. And that's just as overwhelming as the result list of 4 million answers, right? 4 million results. So I'm going to talk about two main things. One is finding your next book, different tools you can use on our website to find your next book. And the other is I want to talk a little bit about your account and what you can do within your account. And I'm just scratching on the surface. So I'll give you my email address at the end, and I invite you to come to the library, say hello, drop me an email, and I love talking about this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right off the bat. There we go. So we are at krl.org. As you can see, the first thing I want to show you is over here on the right under guides, we do have some how-to videos. So there are a few things that in talking about finding books and your account that I'm not going to touch on because they are here on the website via the how-to videos. And it's a project that is in action. So about once a month, we are adding a video or two, so you can keep your eye on that. So the first tool I want to show you today is a great tool for when you're reading a series or you want to read a series and you're not really sure about the order in which the author intended them to be read. So this tool is called Novelist. So here on the black menu bar, I'm going to hover over Research and then click on Biography and Literature. And here is Novelist here on the third tab here. So I'm going to go ahead.
I get it. Novelist.
Yeah. That's right. So clever, right? So I'm going to click on that. When you're at home, you do need to put all 14 numbers of your library card in the box. It will not work to put a username. So I'm going to go ahead and put my username in here, or my library card number in there. And let's see. Here we are. Novelist. So if you're looking for a series, so this morning, I was wondering, actually last night, I was thinking about reading a Stephen King novel. It's kind of that time of year, and he's prolific. And so I thought, well, what if I were to start if I started towards the beginning of his career, I could watch his writing develop. So up here in the search box, I'm going to put Stephen King, and I learned very quickly You can see right here is the title. I do not want a title of a book called Stephen King. What I would like is an author, the author Stephen King. So I'm going to go ahead and click on his name. And I can see it's working up here on the left. You can see that it's, there we go. Okay, so down here on the left, we're looking at books, and I'm going to scroll down. And every book has the date of publication next to it. So you can see, and they're all in, they're in chronological order. So if you scroll to the bottom, all the way to the bottom.
All the way in this case.
All the way, get to 30 and you're not even there yet. So I went to page 3. But you can find out, let me scroll back up. So let me see if there's a, well, I think I went too far back. Here we go. So The Gunslinger, it's part of a series. So Dark Tower is #1 in that series. The series name is Dark Tower. Gunslinger is #1, pardon me. So I'm going to click on Dark Tower. And here we go. This is the series, and we can look at the books. And it will tell you under each book. So Dark Tower #1, Dark Tower #2, Dark Tower #3. So this is how you can get a list of a series and the order. And I should say at this point that the other thing you can do is come to the library and ask us to do this search for you, because but this is it's a fabulous resource. I'm going to scroll back up, and I'm going to click on home up here in the upper left hand corner. So I want to show you some other tools that we have here. This column on the left, I've clicked fiction. We're looking for adult titles. So if you are interested in book club best bets, I'm going to click on that. And here are some categories under which, if you click, you'll find some book group books that might be interesting for you.
And what does that mean, Tressa? A book club? Does that mean that they're often being shared by book groups, or does it mean that they're in a kit or something?
What that means is that these are books that are ripe for discussion. So they are books that you can read, and there are threads of the story that lend themselves to being discussed by a group. That's a great question. Thank you. So all of these categories have smaller category. Oh, look at that. Magical realism. We were just talking about that earlier. I'm actually going to click on that because I do want to show you one more thing in this database. And I'm going to scroll down, and you'll see under each title it says check availability. So
see, there's my book right there.
Oh, there it is, The Water Dancer. That's right.
Yes, indeed.
So,
and look at all those stars, Sheila. Very popular. Okay, we're going to let Tressa finish here. Sorry.
Okay, thank you for pointing out the stars. Those are from Goodreads. So we take that information from, or this database takes the information from Goodreads to put it there. Check availability connects to our catalog, so you can see whether or not we have the book. Now, I was running through kind of what I wanted to talk about today and discovered that this is earlier today. I'm going to click it now. Earlier today, it wasn't working. So I told the IT department, let's see if it worked. Nope. Okay, but usually what it should be telling us is we have, 1 of 2 copies are available as a book. 1 copy is available as an audiobook, 2 copies are available as an ebook. So you can find out if the book is available, and at least best case scenario, and then you can access directly into our catalog. So I apologize that it's not working this morning, but
What a great resource if you're trying to, if you have a book group and you're trying to see if there are a couple copies in the local library.
Exactly, exactly. So I am gonna, let's see, I'm gonna scroll back up and I'm going to close this database. And I'm gonna, again, from our website, I wanna talk about the internal search engine in our website. So the catalog over here, I'm going to search, well, let's just search for Stephen King. And I'm gonna click the search button. Okay. Oh, and then I need to move y'all. So on the right-hand side, well, first we can see there are 616 results over here on the left. On the right-hand side, there is a column of information that we can use to find, to kind of whittle down what it is you're interested in. So the other day I had a parent come in and she was interested in those books that are generally written for youth that have a lot of pictures in them, and they will describe, you know, engineering or medieval time, lots of pictures. And what I did was I searched for the book that she was showing me, and I came over here to the right-hand side, and I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. And you can see, well, first of all, if we want books that are available right now, that are, we can click here. Now we have 435 titles. You can narrow your search by type of material. You can narrow your search by subjects, authors, series, publication date, popularity. I mean, there are just all kinds of ways that you can narrow your search to better match what it is that you are looking for. I'm going to scroll back up. And let's see, the other thing I wanted to show you, I'm going to go to new search. Okay. And here we are again. So I just clicked on new search. This, the tool that I'm going to show you right now was difficult for me to find. I knew it was here, but it took me a few minutes. And what I discovered is I had to do a search first, a search or log into my account, and then I would click on new search, which is over here on the right-hand side, pardon me, on the left-hand side. And then over here on the right, here are some other book lists. Now, I really like this one, New at the Library. I'm going to open that up. So, and I tend to read fiction, but let's say you're interested in large print, which I also enjoy. I'm going to click on large print. These are the most recent large print fiction titles that we have added to our collection. So if you are someone who likes to read new books, or you just even want to see what we've added to our collection, that is a great tool. Scroll back up. And I'm going to go back to new search. And I'm going a little bit quickly because there are so many great tools.
I wanted to say that if you were kind of a master searcher, I see that it said Boolean search, which means that you might be able to make subcategories of large print and fiction, or large print and nonfiction, if you were to figure that out.
That's exactly right. If you can come over here to more search options.
Can I also say one thing?
Yes,
this
please.
would drive me absolutely nuts. No, not really nuts. What would happen is I would find one thing and that would lead me to another. And before I knew it, I had 2 hours under my belt. And Tressa, thanks so much.
That sounds so familiar. It happens. It happens to me. You can do that. You can also narrow your search with more search options right here. This is another great tool that's available to you. I'll click on that. You can search by library branch. You can search by the type of material. So you can search by book group kit, which those are kits in which we have up to 15 copies of the same titles. We also have a list of discussion questions that that the title may bring up for your group, and you can actually check those out as one item and share them with your book group and then discuss those books, which is a great resource. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So these are all ways that you can narrow down your search. We have various collections, languages. You set your search options, and then you can do your search knowing that I'm looking for, you know, books in English that are available at Bainbridge, that are written for kids, or whatever it is that you're interested in. I'm going to, are there any questions or any other observations? You can, with requests in magazine articles, you can actually request items that we don't have in this library. PAC, that is our public facing catalog, public access catalog is what it stands for. But you can search interlibrary loan. Those are books that if the library does not own a title that you're interested in, but you can submit an interlibrary loan request. And what we'll do is we'll look for libraries that are in the region that both have the title and will loan it to us so that you can read it. If we don't find people in the region, we'll widen our scope. We actually get books sent to us sometimes from the East Coast, or Texas, Kansas, Maine, all over the country.
I have a question about that, if I might, Tressa.
Yes.
I just put in a requisition for a book. And I did get a note back saying that indeed it had been accepted or been noted. And I wondered, how long does it take before I would hear back one way or the other?
That is an excellent question. I'm going to go ahead and close this. So it depends. So we send out our request, and we are dependent on responses, of course, and we're dependent on if libraries in our region, none of them either have the title, or maybe they have it, but they're not going to lend it to us, then we widen our search. So if we have to keep expanding that search, it will take a little bit longer. It also depends to a certain degree on what's happening in our department in Bremerton, our interlibrary loan department. So if people are sick or on vacation, then that also adds to the time limit. The other piece is that once we identify a library, we've connected with them, they will loan us the book, then we wait for them to pull the book off their shelves, to send it to their interlibrary loan department, and then box it up and put it in the mail and send it to us. So my colleagues tell us to tell patrons it can take 4 to 6 weeks to get a title. I haven't seen it take that long, but apparently it does sometimes take that long. So it really just depends. That's a great question. Thank you. I'm gonna click on the library icon here on the left to get us back to our main page. And I'm going to log into my account. And what I'd like to do is show you how to give yourself a username, how to create a reader's history, and how to set up an automatic search. So I'm going to click on my account. And I'm going to go to library card number Okay. Oh, I think let's see. Log in. There we go. Extra credit for anyone who can tell me about where Fiber Rabbit comes from. Just jump in there anytime. So here I am in my library account, or in Fiverr's library account. And the first thing I want to talk about is creating a history. So often people would like to have some sort of reading list so they know what books they've checked out, what they've read. And the US Patriot Act, the reason it's not an automatic feature for patrons is that the US Patriot Act requires libraries to, if we're subpoenaed for a record, it requires us to provide those records to law enforcement. And it also, there's an automatic gag order involved. So we're not able to tell you when that happens. So libraries around the country have chosen not to hold on to that information, or to hold on to as little information as possible. And that is to protect your privacy, so that you can read what you want to read, knowing that there's no one looking over your shoulder. Now, that said, some people want a reading list, a history list. So there is a way that you can set that up for yourself. We can't do it from our end, but you can do it from yours. So you sign into your account, and then you'll see, I'll scroll down just a little bit. You've got contact information and preferences, and changing your login. So a history is really a preference. It's a preference that something that you would like your account to do. So I'm going to click on that. So, and I've got address information, contact information. You can make all these changes yourself. And then preferences. So you can change your preference for receiving library notices, text messages. You can even opt out of the notices that we give when items are overdue or about to be overdue. Maintain a reading history is over here on the right-hand side. Okay. When you click this box, you get a little notice telling you that this information may be accessed by law enforcement without your consent. So I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to click Submit Change Request here in the lower left. And you can see now under Messages, there's a note that I've updated. I've updated this function in my account. Okay, now the history will begin now. So from the moment that you opt into this service, any subsequent checkouts will be recorded. And when you go back, or when I'm going to go back and show you this, I'm going to uncheck that box. I've changed my mind, so I'm going to uncheck the box. And this lets you know that when you uncheck the box, it will delete everything that it had been holding on to. So I know there are times when I have had a reading history for short periods of time because I was researching a topic and I wanted to keep a list of those items. You can go in and opt out, and then that history will be gone. One thing and Lovejoy says, ask me how I know. Remember to click Submit Change Request. Oops. And actually, it just takes a moment for it to update. There we go. So, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and close that. And we'll change login. This is how you give yourself a username. So I'm going to change username. Now, I should preface this by saying that the username is not case sensitive. I'm putting in a capital letter because the person that created this account was not me, and they put a capital letter in there. So I don't know if there was a reason for that, but it does not, the username is not case sensitive. The password is case sensitive, so you want to be careful there, but the username is not. And then again, click save. It's the same as my current username. That's okay. All right. Actually, I already have that username, so it's not going to let me change it. Oh, I can see it up here. Well, let's give it a lowercase b. I'll go back and change it later. Click save. And there we go. Put the capital B there itself. So now when I go back to Novelist to get a list of a series that I'm interested in, I still need to put in all 14 numbers in my library card number. In my library card, if I go to download an ebook or an audiobook, I still need to enter all 14 numbers in my library card number. But I can log into my account on the website using my new username, which makes it a lot easier. Whew. So now I'm going to talk about creating or saving a search. You can save book lists here. There is a video on that topic, so I was not going to cover that today. We did link the how-to videos on this screen, so you can go right to that page and learn how to do that. In order to save a search, I'm going to go over here to new search. You first have to run the search. So I am interested in, I've just started quilting, so I'm interested in knowing, in getting an announcement or being informed when a new quilting book is added to the collection. So I'm going to put quilt. So this is a trick with searching. So the search engine or the catalog is looking for items that have the character string QUILT. So it won't search for quilts. It won't search for quilter. It won't search for quilting. It will only look for QUILT. But I want them to include quilter, quilts, quilting. So I'm going to put a star there. Okay, so that star lets the search know that I want those 5 characters, those 5 letters, and then anything that comes after it. Okay, so I'm going to click enter.
Often called a wild card.
Oh, wild card. That's exactly right. Okay, so we've got 977. But now over here on the right, you can see save search. I'm going to click on save search. This is information that may be available to law enforcement without your consent. Well, do you want to continue? Yes, I do. And I'm going to call the search quiltier. So they will, right now it's set up to run the search monthly, but you can have it run weekly if you'd like. And a number of times to run. So for 100 weeks, it will run the search every single week. And I will get an email up here. My colleague will receive an email when that search is done. So I'm going to click save search. Search has been saved. So now you can see on the right hand side in my account that I have one saved search. This is a great feature when you are planning a trip. You can, because you can save a search of that location and receive not only any new information on travel items, but also fiction and all kinds of items. So it's a great resource. So we can see down here, saved searches, quilts, yay. Is that, oops.
That sounds like a very useful thing, especially if, as you said, you're doing research or you're planning for a trip, or you have an interest. You have an interest in the origins of Druid religion. I don't know.
That's right. That's right. It's I will tell you, although I'm using Fiber Rabbit's account, but in my account, I actually have that search saved, and often nothing. Every week I get an email that says no results, no results. Periodically there's results, and I'm able to put a hold on it where the item has actually arrived even. So as soon as my colleague orders the book to be added to our collection, and then they run the search, it's in the catalog, but it hasn't arrived yet, you can put a hold on that item. I also did that for Jodi Picoult because I knew that we were going to be, I knew she was coming out with something new, and I wanted to know exactly when we added it to our collection. So I put in a saved search under her name, and was able to be high up on the waiting list for her book with that little trick there. So it's really a good one. Let's see. So that was searching for books, as well as your count. There is another way to find a new book.
Can I ask a real quick question?
Yes,
So
please.
so what you're saying, Tressa, is that if there is like Tara French is one of my favorite authors, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if I would put Tara French in there for the search engine, and then put the star after it, do I need to put the star after it?
You do not in that case, because you're looking for a specific name. So
Right.
yeah, so you don't need the star.
So I've typed in Tara French or French Tara or whatever way it's supposed, I suppose. Does it make a difference?
No.
Okay, put it Tara French in. Then I go over to the other side over there and put on hold.
So what you would do is, let's do it. So I'm going to go to my account, and I'm going to do, did I already sign it? Go to your account. So I'm going to sign in with my username. Okay, so here's Fiber. I'm going to do a new search. I'm going to look for, whoops. Okay, now since I've just done the search, this save search button has appeared.
Okay.
I'm going to click on it, and I mean, you can call it whatever you'd like. If you know she's coming out with something soon, you may want a weekly search or monthly, and then click Save Search here on the bottom, and that's it.
That's
so
it.
Was there another question?
No. Then
Yeah.
what?
So then what will happen is when the search is run, so it was a monthly search. My guess is that it's time to, as a monthly search, it goes at the beginning of the month. You will receive an email that tells you we ran this search, or the catalog ran this search. It's automatically done by the system. There's not a human being behind it, but and it will tell you whether or not there were any results. If there were results, it will give you a link to the item in our catalog. At that point, you can put a hold on the book. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. She's saying thumbs up.
Oh, good. Okay. And let's see. Oh, this is a tip. I meant to mention this earlier on, but we do have a large text option in our catalog. So if you, we're back at the search for Tana French. But this is another great great resource to know about. You can make the screen. Now this is for the account function only. Pardon me, for the catalog function only. So if you do a new search, we're still in large print here. If we do a search, it's still in large print. Okay. So that's a really great tool. However, if we go back to the library website, we're back to a regular font. And oh, I think I was about to tell you one other way that you can find a book. Another way you can ask us to do the work for you. If you go to read, watch, and listen over here on the left, and then come down to book match, and click book match, and fill out this form. Give us your name, your email, a couple books that you've enjoyed, a couple of things that you haven't enjoyed. It's a little bit of information, and we will send you five titles, 5 suggestions. We'll email it right to you. That can take up to 24 hours, but it's a really great resource. What happens is that, I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom. So generally, fiction, nonfiction, these requests go directly to our collections department. So these are the folks that are actually purchasing books for our collection. They are fabulous. They know our collection, I think, probably better than anyone else because they're so close to it. They're constantly adding to it. So, and you'll get an email response to that one. So that is another great.
All right, resource. A personal librarian available by email.
That's right. So you don't have to go to the library. You can do it from home, which is great. We love people, so we welcome people to come to the library. Please say hello when you come. I love people, but not everybody is ready. Right? Not everybody is able to get to the library. So we have tried to replicate some of our services for those folks.
And you do a lot of things we aren't going to touch on today about access and ability and getting books out to communities that might not be able to come. And that's wonderful. We appreciate that.
I do. I opened this by talking about the dilemma of how if the world is at your fingertips, how do you know where to go, right? And that brings me back to Reed, your point that really I think the library, despite you know, these digital resources have allowed us to reach people in new ways, allowed us to provide things in items in new ways. But really the core of what we do, and I think the real gem of the library is the people. Because you can come in and talk to us, and we have these resources available. And we can point you in the right direction. That's what we do.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you going through this today. It was useful to kind of get a look under the hood of the website and realize that But there are things that I can take care of myself, or that if I'm not exactly sure what it is I'm looking for, I can start the search by myself. And then if I get stuck, I can always come by the library and get some help.
Absolutely. And actually, I'm going to quickly give you my email address. Actually, I gave myself a new screen name.
tjohnson@krl.org.
The library is constantly working to provide the community with what it wants. And we just received news this morning that we will be providing access to a new database for genealogy research, called Fold3. Yeah, and that will become available on November 11th. You will find that under research. You can hover over research and go to genealogy. What I suggest is clicking on research. All of our databases are in alphabetical order, and if you look here periodically, you'll find new things that have been added. So Fold3 will be available with your library card starting on November 11th.